Okay, let's attach radiator. Wouldn't take long. I'll keep my ports to the front of the case. Also, one of the reasons why I decided to slimmer radiator is because it's shorter than RX series, so give me a little bit more space to work inside of the case. Also, I tried a few other models, for example coolants. Coolants are also a long type of radiator, so if you consider this one, don't bother for this case, it will be too long. I use EX or RS 240 size as your guidance. So this one works as the best option as I can see it. So if you have something bigger than that, I would recommend not to go with such a radiator because it will be probably too big. Okay. Now let's see what's the best way to run tubing. Well, the easiest would be start with most obvious part. My GPU, one of the lowest points of the build, so that's the part where you would like to put your draining fitting. So this one will go face down, and I'll have a draining tube hidden inside of the case, but when I need to drain, I turn it and get rid of the water for maintenance purposes. So this is quite critical part not to forget about that. And I also need to make connection towards the reservoir, which obviously 90-degree fitting will work here. Don't really like green O-ring, so has to go. I have a few blue O-rings there, and we'll connect this. A bit awkward to make two 90-degree fittings in such a short distance because they clashing with each other, so we need to start, then hold rotating point and kind of make it in a few steps. So it takes some time. So you can see that O-rings is visible, that's why I replace them from green ones, so I don't have additional color within my build. And probably put illuminating a diode here so we get a little bit glow. So let's see how we can connect graphical card with CPU. Okay, although we have 90 degrees between GPU and CPU, 245 degrees fitting wouldn't work because the distance is not perfect. CPU is closer to the GPU in this direction than this connection closer to CPU from this direction. So in order to tube meet straight, you would need to use a 30-degree adapter, not 45. This will compensate for the difference in distances and give you more nicer direct connection. With 45 degree you look a little bit totally to the side, so it doesn't work well. So this is what I recommend to go for this particular situation. It probably will work for majority of the computer builds because distance between graphical card slot and CPU usually very similar in different models of motherboards as well. So the last thing we need to do here is to run tubing to radiator. Obviously it will be much easier tube run if I flip CPU 180 degrees and go from this direction and from CPU this direction, but this inlet, and also I wanted to keep log in correct position, so for that reason the connection will be somewhat crossed here, but at least it's nicer to have letters not upside down. But before I will figure out connection from or to CPU itself, I need to address a slightly different problem here. As you can see, the connection is obstructed with the fan. So basically what you need to do is to put some sort of spacer that allows you to run tubing to direction you need. It's not a problem in this type of connection towards your pump reservoir combo, but it's definitely a problem with running towards your CPU block. So we need to put spacer there, then put fitting, and we'll see which combination will work the best. Okay, so the best I could figure it out, I used this 30mm spacer out of radiator and 245 degrees elbows to face towards CPU area. And on CPU itself I have a small 15mm spacer and again 245 degrees elbows. And this way you can see those 2 points, they look on each other, and basically I can connect them on more or less straight line without much hassle. And it also doesn't clash with connection goes down to GPU area. So this more or less figured out, and the last thing is to connect my pump and reservoir combo, and that will complete the loop connection. So we can proceed to next step with the filling it up. Alright, final tube route is a direct connection between GPU and reservoir. Pretty straightforward. 90 degree here, straight there, up. I just use a small spacer to help me bend around the drive cage, but really I have 90 and straight connections, slight bend, but I think it's okay. Connection for the filling tube, which I probably need to have pretty long because reservoir is such a small, so I need a good amount of water to come in the initial fill. One touch I use this acrylic stop plug, so I can put a LED here with a green o-ring, if you can see it. And the last thing I need to do is connect my draining tube. This one I don't need right now, so I'll just hide it somewhere behind, and the last fill port. Wait. And if you're wondering how I fix the pump, I just use the existing holes from the plastic mounting for this hard drive cage that we took out, and I use a thumb screw and just put it straight to the pump because it has 2 mounting holes for exactly the same as the screw that used for holding this plastic cage thingy. So it just went fine, and it sits on one single screw, and I don't want to fix it any further at this point because maybe I put some sound dampening device, something like this, if it's required. Okay, I think at this point I have a loop absolutely complete. So just can start filling it up.